I noticed the farmland was becoming increasingly dry and unused the further away we got from civilization. Dips where the trail crossed occasional watercourses were the main riding hazards out there. Villages were spaced out along the trail at intervals, allowing us to keep the bikes refueled and ourselves fed and watered.
Здравствуйте! Есть здесь заправка? Заправка? Заправка, да. На главная трасса, да? Полтора километра трассы, направо. Направо. Спасибо большое. Откуда? Англия! Англия, Лондон. Спасибо.
Locals typically began cautiously with us, but very quickly became extremely friendly. We had to deliberately keep interactions brief, or else would be invited in for lunch and more than enough alcohol that would ruin our riding day. I was determined to stay on the road until we had done the planned distance for each day. It's very easy to fall behind schedule on a ride of this nature, which ultimately jeopardizes finishing the ride within the season. Each day had lunch, evening and fuel stops planned, and we were always aware of how many more kilometers we needed to do before we could call it a day. The end-of-day stops were typically at a cheap hotel or wild campsite. That was unfortunate. Now we got a problem. We remained close to the Kazakh border and therefore vigilant for any of the blue signs that mark the closed border zone.
I think what we'll do is we'll actually stick to our planned track unless we see one of those blue signs. If we see one of the blue signs, stop and we'll work out an alternative.
As Terry rode off, I found myself in awe of the vastness of the Russian Steppe.
Russia, блядь.
We took turns up front. Sometimes Terry would lead, sometimes I would lead. For 4 days now we were riding at up to 135 kilometers an hour over terrain that didn't feature as much as a single hill. the Russian farmland just went on and on and on. It was great high-speed riding practice, and we knew a complete change of riding was coming just a couple of days ahead when we would reach the Ural Mountains. But for now, we were savoring our chance to ride full throttle. Sometimes it was a little too much for Terry, who didn't have much of a front fairing. The speed was making his eyes water.
You can't see. You can't see.
The eyes get watering up.
Yeah.
Nothing.
After 4 days on the Russian Steppe, we pulled into the city of Orenburg. Its traffic and streets were a total contrast after what we had been used to out on the steppe. The welcome return to civilization was completed with a huge pork steak.